Hey everybody, it's Bust, continuing our playthrough of the Path of Champions. To date, we're going to be taking on the 1-star quest, the Fae Sorceress, going up against a Lulu, and using our 1-star Teemo. And so, if you're not familiar with our Teemo, he has the 1-star. The star power is going to give us, when allies attack, you put 5 puff caps on random cards in the opposing deck. The way that we like to build this Teemo, up here in the early stages, or we're using the Lost Chapter. So when you play Teemo, you refill your spell mana. Then we're looking to play on Teemo on turn 1, get that 3 spell mana on turn 2. We're looking to play our Conchologist, generate a spell, and take over the board from there. And so that's what we're going to be doing battle with today. Let's head on in, see how many times we click this. Took about 4. 4 clicks got us into the battle. Let's get started. It's not bad. I usually give myself over/under right around 3. You know, we never get there in 1, sometimes 2 clicks. Sometimes takes 6, who knows? All right, but what do we got here? And so, the reasonable set and hold it, very good defensive. I tend to like the Frostbite one more than the Stun one, but it is reasonable. Reunited is, of course, always strong as well. I'm just going to go with the hold it, take the defensive one. We are going to be like on the board and aggressive early, but typically not so much with units. We really just want to get a lot of strength out of our Teemo, and having Teemo with +1 attack doesn't matter as much as getting him to attack multiple times. And so we'll take the defensive, hopefully protects our Teemo a little bit, and on to battle against the sparring student. Okay, what do we got? We found that Conchologist piece, but no Teemos. I'm just going to take the full mulligan, look for our little Yordle friend, see if we can't get him down on the first turn of the game. We cannot. Sad day. Sad day. It's kind of an abysmal start. At least the Puffcat pup came to came to save our curve. It wouldn't be like the end of the world if our first play of the game was the Sump Fumes and then we followed up with the Puffcat Peddler, but certainly much better to get the pup on board. Getting him with the puff caps right from the get-go. Alright, then I'm going to add the pup here. This is going to let us go into the next turn to where we can add the Puffcat Peddler. Still have 3 mana built up to play Sump Fumes. Hopefully we'll be able to crush on the attack after he's just thrown away all of his units. Looks like it worked out perfectly. Perfectly played, beautifully done. Good job, Bust. You're the best in the world. If you're not familiar, if you need to check the rankings, you can visit ftpbust.com. Has the rankings of the best players in the world, and it's just me. The world's best player, FTP Bust, as ranked by ftpbust.com. All right, so what do we got here? It's not a lot of really powerful stuff in terms of what our deck is trying to do. I kind of like Wallop. It just gives us a nice defensive measure. What you tend to see against some of these support decks is if you can kind of shut down one unit, then you shut down their whole plan, right? It's going to be like a crappy unit supporting a crappy unit supporting a crappy unit, and then just like one good unit at the end. And if you can take that one unit down, the Wallop is good. Also, if they only have 2 units and you can wallop before the combat happens, they get 0 supports, another powerful play as well. So it's not like the strongest, but I'm not going to get value out of the Trumpet Techer or the Foyer in this deck. All right, who's going to support us today? Not a great set of champions. I'm just leaning towards the Garen. The kind of couple of things we get out of this is it can be dangerous to attack with your Teemos, and so giving him the protection for the Brightsteel Protector isn't terrible. It's a nice interactivity with the Concerted Strike. We could now start to cut out some of those removal spells, and then Garen's a decent closer. So like this fills in like a lot of the boxes you're looking for, right? What do I do early? What do I do late? And how do I interact with our opponents? This covers the interaction and the late with the Concerted Strike and the Garen, and so I think I'm happy enough to add it into the collection. Now, don't want gold chests. I don't know what ever makes me want them, but this isn't it. So we'll jump onto battle down here against the Puffcat Pup. Go onto the spells chest. So at round start, plant a poison Puffcap on a random card in the player's deck. There's that Teemo. The Bright Steel protection. The spell's ready to come down. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a pretty good start. Teemo, you ready to block next round? You look like it, my dude. You look ready to block. Uh-oh. That was uncalled for. Alright, well defended. Well defended. Alright, so we get that flipped hit in. We've got some mana to bank up. We can keep protecting our Teemo with the stress defense. The next turn we can just add in the Chump Wump. I think this one's more than done. Opponent needs a lesson on attacking. Just one lesson, please. You do some math, right? You say, is my power equal to or higher their biggest defense? No? Oh, nice, hidden pathways. If the answer to that question was no, then you probably just don't want to attack. Pretty easy. All right. GG. So what do we got here? Rumble, I'm not opposed to, right? We're not doing a ton of stuff with Rumble, but he's obviously the most powerful card out of the set here. Maybe we just want the Petricite Stag, though, just as another way to protect our Teemo. I think I'm on board. Neither of those are particularly strong. You can't, like, realistically look towards the Rumble because we have the cards that generate the puff caps, and then we have free stuff to discard, but I don't think it's going to really come down to that these games. And here, I'm going to pick up the Sump Fumes. It's a on-curve play, has the card draw attached to it. Pretty decent. All right, so round start, a random card in the player's hand costs 2 more. Don't be pranking our Teemos. And you got, there's Teemo. See if we can't find that Conchologist or another spell for the early game. Didn't do it. There's the Sump Fumes. All right, feels good. No. Poor Gab. Poor Teemo. That was uncalled for. All right, nothing to do. Pretty terrible curve this round. Opponent's still working on that math problem we just taught us. You know, it takes a few tries to really get it down. You know, I don't expect you to be able to do it on your first try. I'm notoriously terrible at math, and so, you know, don't feel bad if you don't get it right away. All right. Do we want to just call it there? We can throw out the poison darts. Like, if we roll into next turn and have 7 mana, we can still add like a Peddler and a Sump Fumes. Seems reasonable. Probably just going to add Garen, but he's better next round. We can boost some of the dudes on our team. Anything cheap? No ways to take down this the Kelp Maidens. A little sad. We can kill it with the Sump Fumes, but keeps us from playing the Puffcat Peddler this turn. Alright. Bona hasn't learned the lesson. Nothing you can do, man. You can just offer up the advice. It's there for them to take if they want. If they reject it, you know, what can I do? What can I say? So we'll take in the wallop, attack for 9, get all the puff caps going. Hopefully we'll get a lethal next turn, right? We just need one puff cap hit with the Ava Achiever on the board. Let's see if we do it. Man, I forgot we even had that round start stun thing. Have we even used it up to this point? I think that's the first battle that it's even popped off. Whew. Much defensive. Very unnecessary. Alright, so what do we got here? The Heroic Refrain seems reasonable. Again, another 3 mana combat trick we can use to protect our Teemo with. Having it double up is kind of nice. A big, like 12 attack, or 12 stat life swing. Onto the Scribe of Sorrows. By any number of these powers, the cost doubles each time. Don't really need any of this stuff. I'm going to skip all over them. They're all very weak powers. Okay, into the shop. This is where we find the realistically better ones. Don't want the Emperor's Diaz. It just doesn't... We don't have any combos with it. In terms of these other cards, Origami Slicer, that's going to be the real deal. Give me +1 attack for each of your traps or boons that was activated this round. Anything else? Free Elixir of Wraths works kind of nicely with the Teemo as well. Okay. Okay. I'm on board. Do we want any of this other stuff? I don't think so. So let's pick up the Origami Slicers. It's tough for me. I don't know how many of these we realistically want, because this is kind of a late game card. It does have the challenger thing attached to it though. So let's just take all 3. Sure. Elixir of Wrath. I'm gonna take 2. We already have a lot of combat tricks, so that'll be good here. Now we can come down to the powers, see if we can't get a good one for 200. Dragon's Rage don't want. Bouncing Blades don't really want. When you draw a card, give your allies 1 attack. Sure. All right. It's been settled. On to the healer. What can we cut? Just skip right down to the expensive stuff, right? I don't really want the Petricite Stag. It's fairly off theme of what we're doing. We just kind of got stuck adding it to our deck. Although at this point, now that we've picked up so many combat tricks, I could see removing Wallop as well. Maybe we just take the Wallop and keep the unit, but I mean, 6 4-drops is a lot. All right, Petricite Stag, you're gone. On to Fizz. So, round start. Refill all players' spell mana. I know we passed up on a bouncing blades there, the thing that gives you the 1 mana Blade's Edge every turn. That's always quite good against Fizz. I just think we're gonna cruise through this set of battles though and not really need it. We get all that spell mana every turn, we're just gonna start slamming these wallops right onto him. See, I got a wallop for you, Fizz. We'll probably counterspell it on the first go. Oh man, he's got 3 health. Jeez, who knew life could be so hard? Guess that got him. that wasn't very hard. Get fumed, bro. Anything cool here? I think I could go for Iterative Improvement. It just, if we're gonna have this bonus mana every turn of the game, then copying some units isn't that bad. Copying Conchologists always feels pretty good. Alright, you got stunned, bro. Now we get our real stuns rolling through from our power. Looks good to me. Let's go ahead and kill this guy, right? It's going to roll into his turn, and then our power is going to stun the Fizz. You don't have anything to worry about. Is this stun the strongest or the weakest? It stuns the weakest? The strongest. Okay. So it should have been stunning Fizz there anyways, but we did it the safe way. All right. I'll take an elusive as well. Probably a pretty good place for this Origami Slicer to go. That's tough, man. That is good. We could have put it on to the Puffcat Pup for the quick attack challenges. We put it on the Zap just for the pure damages, but lots of good options for that thing in here, even without considering the The boon's popping. The best of combos. We got them all. All right. Is he going to attack? He seems really excited about making these horrible attacks. So I didn't want to hold it past him. Alright, Yordle on board. We'll add the Conchologist as well, just to make sure we get all these dudes down. The game. Oof. Instead here drawing cards, huh? The game should pretty much be over at this point. Insider knowledge will probably end it. No attacks today. Oh yeah, just just drop that hidden pathways against the Buffcap deck. I love it. I love it. GG. So we're going to add in more Teemos. That's the way we're going to take this. So we'll just give him barrier, safe attacks as soon as he comes down. There shouldn't be too much for him to worry about, but we can run into those spots to where we play him on like turn 2 and he needs to block or something. All right, so Armed Gearheads. This is one that's kind of interesting for a deck like ours. We have the Conchologist. We have the 4/4 that generates the 2 Mushroom Clouds. We have a lot of ways to actually ramp up these Armed Gearheads. Now that we're in like the middle of the run, it's not as impressive. Like if this is one that you pick up as your first power and you know, oh shit, yeah, I get to really build around the augment theme. This is something that can work exceptionally strong with Teemo, but we're kind of like in the middle. It's better than the other two. Like I could definitely see an argument for this point to where you just say, you know, just take the draw 2 at the game start so you maximize your chances of hitting Teemo on the first turn. But I think we still have a bit of time to amp up these gearheads before we get to the end. All right, so here we got the Young Witch. I don't remember what it says. Let's pull it up on the site real quick. Okay, so we are just on the ftpbus.com site. This is what I mentioned earlier that has the world rankings of me being the best in the world. If you're just up in the utilities section, this will have both events and powers. Events are the little exclamation parts. The powers are the things that's giving us the Armed Gearhead. So we'll be in the events. We'll just search for Witch, and that pulls up the Young Witch. And so she lets us shop for spells with items attached. And so that's not horrible. I'm not completely opposed to that. Would we rather fight just a spells chest? Very similar in what they're giving us, but I think we can head down towards the Young Witch. That'll give us a little bit more agency in what we get, right? If you go to the spells chest, you get the choice of 3, to where if we go to the shop, we get the choice of 6 with rerolls. We don't have any rerolls left, but we do have a few more choices here. All right, none of these are units. We will start with those Armed Gearheads, but looking for Teemos a little bit more specifically. Oh, right. Not Teemo. Sad day. We gotta keep looking for him. We'll find him eventually. Here, I'm just going to take the advanced intel. It's not strong by any means, but it's going to give us these augments for 1 mana and let us just continue on with, say, adding the Puffcat Peddler this round. Right, so we can advanced intel. We did pick up this Elixir of Wrath. It's not going to be a lethal on this board, but it's a high-powered attack play here. What? You say with our crystals combined? What are you doing with crystals, Twisted Catalyzer? We picked up our Teemo. Can play Teemo and then follow up with a Concerted Strike if we want. He's also a really good blocker here. Okay. I'm on board. I've been sold. All right, I didn't want to say that we'll be lethaling on this next attack, but we should be really close, right? We got the Teemo. We can give him the bonus attack. We should be really close to lethaling, and if we don't hit during the attack, then we have the Ava Achiever, and we're loaded up on puff caps as well. So, good stuff. All right, where we at? Wallop summoning stuff or the loping telescope sending in additional puff caps? I would love to put the papercraft dragon on Teemo, but if we're going to be real, it's just too expensive. I'm just going to go with the wallops here. I wouldn't be opposed. Like, this is a strategy you can take sometimes to where you take a card you don't want and then you stack more on top of it, and then you just go cut them out of your deck later. So you have a little bit of a little bit better options in terms of what's actually in your deck. But I don't think that's something we're going to be really running into here. Ooh, man, look at this Tall Tales. We can reduce its cost by 1. Not really interested in that. Roar of the Slayer is kind of meh. All of these cards, not quite what we're looking for, and so we'll leave. We had more options than we would have if we just went to the spells chest, but not anything really exciting there. Ooh, another round start stun. Okay. Look at this. We got 1 mana Mystic Shots and then the Mushroom Clouds that have draw a card attached to it. I'm just going to stay on theme here with the Mushroom Cloud. This isn't how you assemble the best deck in the world, but I like what it's doing here. And then I'll spend that last 300 on the stun power. So moving further, we got a rare spells chest or we have an epic item chest. We're going epic today. So all players start with a Mirror Mage. Another one that works... You know, we have some combos with the Mirror Mage here with our Conchologist and our spell generation, so we should be reasonable. Teemos. Where's my Teemos? Nowhere to be found. All right. We get some damage in there. It's so jarring, like starting out the game just having 3 dudes on the board. It's not quite what I was expecting. Now we get the big stuns on his whole team. Feels good. All right, well, we need some protection this round. Can we just lethal on this open, right? If we have 14 plus 5, it's 19 damage. Assuming opponent doesn't have any shenanigans in their hand, we should be good. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's show me off. Upgrade. Nice.
Seems pretty lethal. Good job, squad. Okay, anything cool here? Not really. We'll just pick up more Ava Achievers. I don't want the Trackers or the First Blades, and there's not a ton of difference between a 4-mana First Blade and a 5-mana Ava Achiever in terms of adding expensive stuff to our deck, but the Ava Achiever is just way more on theme. And it's like if we roll into this one, and it's like, hey, look, it's a ancient coin onto the Ava Achiever or something, then we've got a nice addition into our deck. Now, I'll just take the Mushroom Clouds that summon champions. Pretty good chance that it just summons Teemo. Not going to complain about that. We'll come and cut something expensive. I think I'm going to get rid of the Lecturing Yordle. It's just, we get that kind of immediate impact out of the Chump Wump if we have to play it. So here, round start, you transform the player's strongest follower, that's a non-champion unit, into a 1/1 squirrel. Silence it for the round. What you got for us? No Teemos? Nowhere to be found, my friend. Sad day.
Don't think I won't unmake you because I will.
Can't attack. I'm trying to attack. It's apparently not our attack token. Alright, well, we'll wait the turn for our quick attacks and send in the squad. Oh, friend, you got bamboozled here. Oh, nope. I want to barrier the squirrel.
Got your back. Patrol 1, Patrol 2, Patrol 3. Intruder, get him.
Alright, reasonable enough turn. And so this is what I'm kind of talking about in terms of wanting those wallops in the early game. I know that his stuff is just getting stunned here, but if we want to like stop to imagine that the flower child was available and we were able to come in and stun the flower child, if he's only attacking with Lulu or only attacking with the flower child, it's not a really high-powered play from our opponent. And so it gives us a lot of opportunity to shut down their good attacks and their good themes. So we took down Lulu. Our 3/3 is going to get shrunk now. That's okay. And then we'll stun 2 of his units. We'll look to next turn then get these kind of wallop stun plays, keep him from attacking us.
Try to keep up.
So we got a pretty free combat here, putting the origami slicer on the quick attack unit. Now we should roll into the next turn, get stuns onto both of his units, can wallop down a combat if we need to. Looking pretty strong. Surprised he doesn't have any units to add. Okay. Bring in the emotes. So where are we at in terms of lethal, right? We got 10 damage here. Let's see if we can't find something with the conchologist.
Let us take a peek at life beneath the waves.
Kinda close. So we need to say wallop this dude. I would assume if he didn't have a unit last turn, he probably doesn't have a unit this turn. And I was wanting to see if we couldn't say stun the Trevor and then electro harpoon to victory, but looks like we're going to be a little bit short on that angle.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's hook down the Trevor. We'll get the stuns into Lulu. Don't have to worry about her attacking. We'll just need to cycle around to our next turn to get that lethal. Nothing from opponent. Handful of nopifies. The deny is not a strong card at this space. Alright, here comes the squad. 12 into 7. I bet we did it. I bet we lethaled. Got him. GG. So yeah, not a bad set of battles. We didn't really get to build around Teemo as much as we wanted, but I think we hit on some reasonable highlights in terms of deck building here. Not so much in terms of building a strong deck, but what to kind of avoid in terms of making your deck bad, right? You can run into these spots to where you have too much just expensive stuff. If you're playing with the Chump Wump and the Ava Achiever and the Yordle Poison Dart Maker, and then you pick up an expensive champion, right? You can run into a lot of these spots to where you're not doing anything until like the third turn. And while when we're in here in like the 1 and the 1.5 star battles, that's certainly manageable. We can still win out on those games. But if we're in the 2.5, the 3, the 4 star battles, you can't have these decks to where you don't do anything until the third turn. And so I think our negatives coming out of this deck were the thing to really pay attention to. And so I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.